Hi, everybody. I'm Benji. This is Alex. That's Doobie. We're celebrating Golden Girls Day, which also happens to be Cheesecake Day. So we're going to break the first rule of television and eat while we're on the air. But luckily for us, it's not actual television.
Well, and I read that they ate an estimated 100 cheesecakes while filming Golden Girls, and that B. Arthur actually didn't like cheesecake.
I went on location for this occasion, and ergo, I did not get to enjoy the cheesecake. But I am here in Miami, as you can see.
So you might not have enjoyed the cheesecake, but how was Blanche?
My question is Miami nice?
You know what's painful?
How many times did you say that?
I realized today that Blanche, her age when she started the Golden Girls is only 2 years older than my age now. Ouch.
That's something.
And so, still only half the age of Wilford Brimley and Cocoon.
Right.
As a kid, I think I had this perception that they were a lot older than they really are. And now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, they're not that old.
You're like 60's not dead.
Yeah.
It better not
so
be.
I heard Hulu is getting a lot of people to watch Golden Girls while we're in a quarantine with them. Because it's like comfort food, right? Like cheesecake.
Yeah, Hulu had released the numbers in April of like how many hours of Golden Girls people watched that month. And it was like 400 hours worth of Golden Girls. Like that was a show that people were routinely going to for comfort in these uncertain times.
I missed the pre-show meeting on this one. Is our job here just to sit here for a half hour and eat cheesecake?
Yeah, basically. Well, but I got a Golden Girls trivia quiz that Disney sent to us.
Do you need water?
No, I'm good.
Cheesecake's dense.
So it's 20 questions, and they say if you get 15 right, you're doing a good job. Golden Girls. So question number 1. After the theme song in the pilot episode, which character do we see first?
It's the chef guy.
I'll give you a hint. Blanche, Sophia, Rose, or Dorothy?
I'm going to guess Blanche.
Doobie?
I'm going to guess Sophia.
It is Dorothy.
I'm going to guess we were both wrong.
What is Rose's occupation at the beginning of the series? Cook, grief counselor, nurse, or teacher?
No, I'm going to guess nurse.
Doobie?
I am pretty certain it's teacher.
It's grief counselor.
That's what she was later.
No, then she went to the TV station.
Oh, okay.
What Disney resort do Sophia and Dorothy take a vacation to? Disneyland, the yet-to-be-built Disneyland Paris, Walt Disney World, or none of these?
Disney World.
It's
got to be Disney World because there's their house.
Yeah, they just walked outside the door and they were there. I don't know why that was like they were like the first Golden Oak people, weren't they? Like the first people to live there.
Maybe they were Robin Lopez's neighbor.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Do you think Robin Lopez likes the Golden Girls?
He seems like he would.
I guarantee you he's a Golden Girls fan. If they went at Christmas time, it would look like this, by the way.
Ooh. Very Osborne.
I never got to do Osborne when it was on the street. What was Blanche's first husband's name? Gerald, Jim, George, or Gregory?
I'm going with George.
I feel like George is right as well.
George is right. What was Dorothy's first husband's name? I'm not going to give you this multiple times.
Stanley.
You got that one. What was Rose's first husband's name? Harold, Terry, Sam, or Charlie?
Charlie.
Oh, I was very confidently going to say Sam until Alex said Charlie.
What was Sophia's husband's name? Sam, Sal, Antonio, or Mario?
Sal.
Yeah, it was Sal. Where is Dorothy moving to in the end of the series? Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York, or Denver?
Oh God.
I'm going to say
remember she was with Leslie Nielsen. Where would he be moving to?
Well, surely you can't be serious about that.
I'm
going to guess Los Angeles.
Nope, it was Atlanta.
Oh.
Who said it? Why? Because remember she marries Blanche's cousin, so it's like they're from the South.
that legal?
Blanche's cousin. Yes, you can marry anyone else's cousin.
In Georgia, I think it's legal to marry your own cousin.
Yeah.
Tennessee, definitely.
Who said it? We were never allowed to wear berets in high school. Blanche, Sophia, Rose, or Dorothy.
That feels like a Blanche kind of thing.
You're pointing at Rose. I'm going to say Rose.
It is Rose. What kind? This is like might be the easiest question on the quiz. What type of novels did Blanche once decide to write? Thriller, comedy, sci-fi, or romance?
Oh, I was expecting
A fifth option there, yes.
Romance is closest.
Romance. What was the name of the play the girls starred in dressed as birds? Henny Penny, Penny Henny, Chicken Little, or none of the above?
Chicken Little.
Sure. He's probably right.
Henny Penny.
Oh.
Don't
Rose
say it with confidence if you're not sure, Alex.
I was pretty sure.
Rose worked in all of the following places except a TV station, grief counseling center, restaurant, or police station.
Restaurant.
Police station.
Restaurant or police station? I'm going to go police station. Got it? Police station. Who owns the house the girls live in? The answer is not Walt Disney World. Blanche,
Blanche.
Dorothy, Rose, or Sophia?
Dorothy.
Blanche.
Really?
Yeah.
Why'd she let all these people live in her house?
Money.
Mortgage was high.
Where did Rose and Blanche first meet? The library, supermarket, concert, or talent show?
Supermarket.
On the Lanai.
Who said the older you get, the better you get, unless you're a banana? Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, or Sophia?
Sounds like a Sophia thing.
That sounds like a Rose to me.
I'm going to go Rose. Yep, Rose. Who said, have I given you any indication at all that I care? I'm not going to give you.
That's a Dorothy thing.
One of our commenters?
Disneyland 155 says Sophia. So I'm going to go with their answer.
No,
Sophia.
They were right.
What game show did the girls compete on? Grab that dough, win that prize, truth or lie, or win or lose?
If Blanche was in it, she definitely was in the Grab That Dough.
It's grab that dough.
I'm gonna press my luck.
What is Sophia's catchphrase? Is it back in St. Olaf? Not now, Ma. Picture it, or none of these above. None of these.
Picture it.
Yeah.
Picture it. Sicily.
What does everyone call Blanche's father? Big Hollingsworth, Mr. H, Hollingsworth, or Big Daddy?
Big Daddy.
In the last episode, what does Dorothy tell Sophia is the greatest gift Sophia gave to her? Money, friendship, jewelry, or self-confidence?
Self-confidence.
Yeah.
Money.
Hey, we did well. We got 17 out of 20.
Woohoo!
So you're officially big Golden Girls fans.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so now there was this meme that went very popular. So we're gonna do a live reading of it.
We are.
We need a fourth. Does anyone have a fourth?
I think I'm trying. I'm working on it. And here she comes.
Woo!
Does anybody ever wonder where the Golden Girls house at Disney World is now? No? Too bad.
We revealed it a little earlier on Twitter.
Right there, Galaxy's Edge. I was hoping we could get Jeremiah to come sing from there, but he refused.
Looks like a yummy place for some cheesecake.
Yeah, we should have just had him eat cheesecake from there. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they sell cheesecake at the quick serve?
It's probably called like the Chajuku Baku or something. I don't know.
I've never had dessert there. I've just had the tip yip.
So I think Rebecca should get to pick her character first.
You can pick your own character.
I'm gonna go with Blanche because she only has one line.
Okay. Who are you, Doobie?
I'll go last. You guys can pick. I don't want to hog.
You.
I'll be Sophia.
I'll do Dorothy.
I get to be Rose.
Ah, fitting. Okay. Picture it. Sicily, 2020. I was sitting in my house.
Then what, Sophia?
That's it. We sat in our houses. It was a pandemic.
Ooh, I bet there were a lot of babies born that year.
Why, Blanche?
Because there was a stork invasion, Rose.
A pandemic and a stork invasion? What are the chances? 2020.
Same as Dorothy getting a date on both Friday and Saturday night.
Shady Pines, Ma.
Good luck, pussycat. They're on lockdown.
Very nice.
That is funny.
That's a fun meme. I enjoy that.
Dewey and I talked about like how like it's funny how hilarious Golden Girls is, despite the fact it is so the characters are so formula that you know the punchline before they open their mouth. In fact, I was listening to something today where it's like the reason that I think Estelle Getty was so good at that role was because she was able to say the line so fast that she could say it before you could get to the punchline in your head.
There are times like Benji is so familiar with the show. I got into it really through him. And there are times where we'll be watching an episode and he will start cracking up before the scene plays out because he knows what's coming and he's just laughing at the memory of it.
It is a fantastic show.
I'm pretty sure that's how I got into the show was because when Benji and Doobie were watching it, I was in the room as well.
as two grown men are typically doing together.
It speaks to everybody. At the time, we were not the advanced age we are now, and we were still male, and we weren't living in Miami, and yet it still worked for us.
Did you have the age discussion before you went live?
Yeah, I don't think we've talked about it.
Because just to kind of peek behind the curtain, it was really fascinating listening to you all talk about how the Golden Girls seemed so much older to you when you watched it and you were younger.
These are the ages the Golden Girls were when the show launched. So
wow.
Blanche was by far the youngest at 51. Sophia was only 62. Dorothy, her daughter, was older at 63, and Rose was 63 as well. So that means when this show launched, Blanche was 2 years older than I am now. That's painful. Oh, look at her. Look at her. I mean,
Yeah, you can get all the men you want.
she's pretty attractive.
Blanche Devereaux.
As I approach 51 myself, I realize 51 is still hot.
I think it's impressive that a show that went off the air 20 years ago still has merchandise like the
and more merchandise now than it did then.
Yeah, you can do a Golden Girls Sophia Chia pet. Chia. There's Golden Girls Geeky Tikis.
Gold Girls Monopoly. Clue. Were you figuring out who ate the last slice of cheesecake instead of who murdered somebody?
I feel like we should do open up the Rusty Anchor and we can get the Golden Girl Tiki things and
Funko
who's
has
that
a game
gorgeous
too.
woman?
Who?
The one you just popped
Oh,
up.
do you see that down there?
Yeah, he's
Your
looking.
hidden screen.
I'm like, you're looking at the pre. Speaking of Golden Girls trivia, do you know who this is?
Is that Blanche's daughter?
Nope.
Don't tell me that's B. Arthur.
No.
Estelle
That
Getty?
is Cynthia Lee, the singer of their version of "Thank You for Being a Friend."
Oh.
So,
That makes
and that is her claim to fame, by the way. So don't be surprised that you haven't heard of her.
Also, I'd like to. Has anyone when you write a card to like a friend or something? Is it impossible to write, thank you for being a friend, and then you just automatically think like, what do I say next? You want to say travel down that road and back again?
Can I give Benji a challenge? I assume you've seen every episode of the Golden Girls multiple.
I think so.
Flawlessly sing the opening theme song.
I don't know if I can, but I'll try. Thank you for being a friend. Do 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 do. Travel down the road and back again. Do do do. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. Do do do. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, "Thank you for being a friend." Bum 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 bum.
And Andrew David.
I love all the incidental music, and it drives me crazy that it's not available anywhere. I just want all of the scene changed.
It is.
Music for your Lanai.
To check YouTube, that really feels like something some geek YouTube fan would have put together.
Music Team Cheesecake too.
If not, we know our next video. I have a question. Did you know what a lanai was before Golden Girls?
No. Yeah, I did. It was called a patio.
But what I remember is when we decided to move to Florida, it was very important to you that we find a place that had a lanai.
The lanai is not a thing.
Had a lanai.
It's called a
I
patio.
remember when I was looking at places in Florida, and they're like, you can have a sunroom or you can have a lanai. And I went, what are these? Like, these things exist outside Golden Girls? I thought it was like they named it after like their Uncle Lanai.
They didn't have a pool though.
Well, speaking
You
of
could have a
lanai,
lanai or a pool.
I just want to make sure you guys don't forget that the pineapple lanai at Polynesian, that's where you can get Dole Whips outside of the Disney
Mhm.
World.
That's a good point.
That is true.
They should make
So-
the word lanai the first word Disney legend.
For those who don't know, a patio is a roofed or unroofed outdoor space to provide a place to relax. A lanai is a patio that is covered either by a roof or entirely screened so that you can enjoy the outdoors in any conditions, protected from the elements. Which means everything in Florida is a lanai. All those places you drive by with the black screens on the outside,
Those are lanai.
I thought they were backyards, but silly me, those are lanai.
Some of them have pools inside them.
Did you ever try and figure out like the architecture of their house? Because like
It makes no sense.
they all had bedrooms on the right side, but like there were two doors. So I'm not quite sure what was happening there.
Well, and here's the weirdest part is from the outside, the garage, I believe, is on the left, but they access the garage through the kitchen, which is on the right. Oh no, the garage is on the right. Never mind.
The other thing that's weird is when they talk about this is they have a breakfast table for 4, yet someone always has to be standing
There's only
because you can't have the 4 chair, the cameras out there. So that's why like Sophia's always cooking or doing something, or sometimes she's in a stool, despite the fact there's a perfectly good chair for her.
Kind of like that.
It's so good.
And eating cheesecake, of course.
What was the name of the store at Universal City Walk Orlando where they sold the wardrobe from Golden Girls? Do you remember that?
was any of it Blanche's?
I want to say it was like called like Fresh Produce or
Fresh
something.
produce, yeah.
And you
Was
go
it-
buy it and you're like designed
You're
for
going into a dangerous area, Benji.
I thought you meant actual clothes from the show.
No. It was like
Universal had stores that sell movie props and costumes.
it was like the pastel sort of summer wear that the Golden Girls wore.
So I guess it was in Rue McClanahan's contract that she gets to keep all of her wardrobe. And then when she passed away, someone she had willed a lot of stuff to opened up a cafe in New York that's not there anymore, but it was called Cafe La Rue. And you could go and they serve cheesecake, and you could see some of her personal collection on the wall.
Fresh Produce, Alex, was a delightful shop at
I
City
know
Walk.
I know
Well,
the store because they were
okay,
in
well,
malls too.
Imagine walking into it and having these two yahoos be like, "Oh, this must be where Blanche shops."
Yeah, they had a fresh produce in Celebration for a short time.
Yes.
My mom bought
Yeah.
it.
And it was called Soft as a Grape, and they
Oh, you're right.
sold fresh produce line there.
You walk in there, it smelled like grape.
I
It was
loved
beautiful.
that shop. My very, very favorite sweatshirt, in fact, is slowly dying that I bought there. 20 plus years, 20 years ago.
Your celebration shirt.
Yeah,
sweatshirt.
celebration sweatshirt. But yeah, so I ended up not buying anything in fresh produce. I might add. They made me feel like I was being an old lady if I did. So I didn't. But, yeah. Do you guys have favorite episodes or favorite moments? I'm not as familiar with the show as you guys.
I mean, the one where they go to Disney World is just fun as a Disney fan. Dorothy and Sophia go, but then all Dorothy wants to do is sit in the room and reminisce. And so
Yeah, and-
Sophia's like trying to get to Space Mountain. They
In
stay
that
with
episode, Did they leave the hotel in that episode?
No, they didn't
Yeah,
leave the
that's weird.
hotel, and the set designers did nothing to try and make it look like the contemporary room. So it was just like generic Florida hotel room.
So they never actually went to Disney World.
They never actually went to it. So like they keep making references that they're looking at Space Mountain out the window. And so you know that must be contemporary, but it's just funny. I love that one just as a Disney fan. To me, a lot of the cameos from people who like went on to do other things are fun too. The girl from the Shelley Long movie Troop Beverly Hills is in an episode as a Girl Scout who comes to the door and causes some havoc for them. Mario Lopez, who went on to Saved by the Bell, is in an episode. George Clooney plays a doctor, if I'm not mistaken, years before ER.
It was a stretch.
Yeah.
He played the cop.
Oh, that's right. He was a cop.
Yeah.
And then the one where they keep Burt Reynolds is the guest star, and they keep saying Mr. Burt Reynolds, which anytime Burt Reynolds comes up, he corrects me and says, Mr. Burt Reynolds.
Reynolds. That's great.
Now, am I right that this wasn't actually filmed on the MGM Disney Studios property at all?
Sunset and Gower.
Yeah, it was an LA shoot.
Because the show was on before Hollywood Studios opened.
Okay.
Actually, there's a short-lived sitcom called It Takes Two. And if you watch it, the kitchen set is from that show. It wasn't even originally made for Golden Girls.
And the exterior house was a real house in LA. LA that they then built in Hollywood Studios.
So they built
there's talk of like one of those HGTV shows buying it and like turning it into the Golden Girls house.
And you're convinced that they never actually used footage of the Hollywood Studios house in the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because I'll be watching like later episodes and I'll say, oh, that must be Disney World. And he's like, no, that's the exact same shot they've been using since the beginning. So he's pretty sure that they never actually used the facade from Hollywood Studios in the show, that it was just built to say, you know, here's our backlot.
Right.
Yes. I don't agree.
I don't want it to be true. I want to believe that the last several seasons, every time you see the house, it's from Disney World.
I'm pretty sure they at least filmed a couple episodes of the Travel Channel, and
I saw a pilot for an Animal Planet show there, live taping, which is pretty cool. Mickey Mouse Club really filmed there.
You know, one of my favorite fun facts about Golden Girls, and everyone shares it, but I think it's just so cool, is about how Betty White was known as playing a tramp on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and Rue McClanahan played a nitwit on Maude. And they decided, so they originally sort of in those parts, and they decided to switch. And so when they were trying to they were looking for a B. Arthur type. So because Rue knew her from Maude, they had her give her a call. And, B says, I have no interest in Maude and Vivian. Go visit Sue Ann Nivens. And and then so they switch the parts, and she goes, oh, now that's interesting.
Oh, how funny.
I never knew you had that impression in you, Benji.
It's terrible. So you want to see a good B. Arthur thing? If you look up the Paley Fest reunion they did with Betty White and Rue McClanahan, they have Mark Cherry, former occupant of Walt Disney's office on the Disney Studio lot, and he can do something. I can't do it, but he can walk like B. Arthur.
I want to see.
And he does this thing where it's like
her hand's like straight out. It's like leads with her hand.
She puts her hand, and then her hand kind of pulls her foot. Which, when you see him do it, you're like, I've totally seen that happen in the episode. Like, so it's like she leans back to prevent herself from falling forward.
And Dorothy Spornak is the worst dressed character in the history of television, right?
Were her shoulders that squared off, or was she using shoulder pads?
Must be. It was a shoulder pad era, yeah.
I know it was a shoulder pad. I know she's wearing shoulder pads. I'm just being.
But I mean, it's a shoulder pad era, right?
Yeah.
It is? No.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
I remember playing with my moms. Like, they would fall out of her like dress attire, and I'd play with them.
I remember cutting them out of clothing because I felt absurd in them because I was terribly petite in that era, and so it looked absurd because they were just too big. Well,
and what's funny about the shoulder pads is, I guess it was they were put into clothes for women in the 80s as more women entered the workplace to try and show more dominance in that setting. So it's just interesting that you have this very female forward show, pretty much no males as a main character, and dealing with women's issues in a way that sitcoms never did before, including menopause. And they're all wearing these shoulder pads.
There's an actual shot from one of the scenes, and you can notice the shoulder pads that they're wearing.
Wow. One of my favorite jokes, I think it was in the first season, where Dorothy's lesbian friend comes to visit and has a crush on Rose. And so she's so worried that when she explains it to Blanche, that Blanche is going to react poorly. And she goes, well, Blanche, this character's, my friend's a lesbian. She goes like, oh, okay. And she goes like, you don't have any, qualms? She goes like, no, isn't Danny Thomas one?
What is she referring to?
He's
Lebanese.
Yeah.
That is really funny. I remember that joke, and I remember not getting it then and not getting it now. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
A lit.
But
look at this. This is pretty. This is how it all ended, I presume. I don't even remember the final episode, but
it is because I intentionally avoided watching the last episode because I just didn't want to finish Golden Girls. Like, something about that felt very sad to me. I did finish it during quarantine. That's one of the things that I did, was I finally decided to watch the final episode.
So, Doobie, I asked you earlier, now I need an answer. Popcorn or churro? Golden Girls or Star Wars?
What aspect? Like the franchise as a whole?
Your enjoyment of.
Are we talking all of Star Wars, or can it be like one Star Wars?
Well, I'm not going to say like episode 1.
I mean, obviously I've gotten many more hours of enjoyment out of Golden Girls, but there's many more hours to enjoy. But I would say, if only Star Wars had a Rosen Island, it would make all the difference in the world. So I got to go with Golden Girls.
I got to say, we have a brilliant idea here. You know how they're trying to do all these Disney Plus shows?
Yes.
We need to do like the Star Wars like sitcom, not where it's like a spoof or anything, just like a sitcom, just like 4 rebels living in a bunker. One is, you could play it up.
I think they tried it with Chewie's family in the holiday special,
but do it well.
Didn't go well.
This may be the perfect solution to that. Give me 1 second.
Thank you, Twitter.
I think we found.
Wow.
This is from a Twitter account. Jason Levy tweeted this.
Jason Levy.
That's Star Wars Celebration, I presume. Or is it extra?
I think it's Celebration. Well, it actually might just be a generic fan convention, because in the background I see No Face from Spirited Away, which you wouldn't expect to find it in those other conventions.
The blue screen went all funny. I mean, something happened in the living room when you got up.
Ghost.
Hey, well, thank you for being my friend, Debbie.
You could travel down the road and back again. And that's pretty much all I can remember. But, you're welcome.
Well, if you threw a quarantine party,
I wouldn't be invited, or I'd be right now.
The biggest virus load would come from me.
Man, this is our 3rd live stream today. This must be the last one.
No, we got 2 more. One starting in about 30, an hour and a half.
Frere, mon frere. We have 2 more live streams coming up today. How exciting!
Yeah, we're going to talk Epcot. Oh, that's a great Golden Girls joke. When Sophia comes in and Dorothy says, "So how was the senior trip to Epcot?" Like, "Oh, we didn't go in." And they go like, she goes like, "Why did you go all the way down there to go to Epcot?" She goes like, "I'm 82 years old. What do I care what the future's like?"
Soon she can just go to the neighborhood, and that would be a moot point.
So we'll be back at 4 to talk Epcot Center.
That's only 90 minutes away, 4 Pacific time.
And then at 7:30, we got Movie Club with the ESPN 30 for 30 doc Winning Time, which is weird because it's so old. It starts with an intro where it says 30 films because that was when 30 was going to be 30 films.
That's about the Pacers and the rivalry with the Knicks, right?
Yep.
Spike Lee. That's a really good one.
There's a lot of Spike Lee.
Really good one. All you sports fans, I'm sure there's a huge crossover between the people still watching this broadcast and the people who are looking forward to winning time. Huge.
lot of
I'm in
overlap.
both. I feel underrepresented.
And that is the extent of the crossover, is you and I. Oh, something's happening back there again.
It's one of Blanche's gentleman callers. Bye, everybody.
Bye.